I rescued an alien during a rainstorm. Her species' reaction to water changed everything. The downpour hammered against the metal roof of Ashfurner's isolated cabin, drowning out all other sounds from the forest surrounding him. 6 months since his honorable discharge from the Terran Defense Corps, and he still couldn't sleep through a thunderstorm. Old habits died hard. A flash of lightning illuminated his sparse living quarters, medical supplies organized with military precision, tactical gear hanging by the door, and the service medals he never displayed gathering dust in a drawer. The thunder that followed was deafening, but not enough to mask the crash outside. Ash grabbed his sidearm and emergency kit out of instinct. Flashlight in hand, he stepped into the deluge, scanning the perimeter. 20 yards from his cabin lay a crumpled form, half hidden beneath fallen branches. Not human. The blue-tinted skin confirmed that immediately. "Don't move," he called out, approaching cautiously. The alien's eyes snapped open, iridescent and pupilless, like liquid silver. Female, based on the humanoid form. Her flight suit was torn, revealing a gash across her abdomen that leaked lilac fluid into the mud. "I mean no harm," she said in perfect English, voice melodic despite her obvious pain. Tracking. Malfunction. Crash landed. Ash's medic instincts took over. "You're bleeding badly. I need to get you inside." As he helped her to her feet, the rain soaked through her torn suit. The alien shuddered violently against him, not from cold but something else. Her skin temperature spiked noticeably, her breathing quickened, and she pressed against him with unexpected urgency. "Are you going into shock?" he asked, half carrying her toward the cabin. "No," she managed through gritted teeth. "It's complicated. Please, shelter." Inside, Ash lowered her onto his cot and gathered his med supplies. The alien's condition seemed to worsen. Her skin flushed darker blue, and she writhed uncomfortably. "I need to treat that wound," he said, approaching with antiseptic. "Wait," she gasped, backing away. "My name is Lyra. I am reacting to the water. My species." She took several deep breaths, visibly fighting for control. "Water triggers a biochemical response. A mating drive." Ash froze. "You're telling me you go into heat when wet?" She nodded, embarrassment clear in her alien features. "It will pass, eventually. But first, we have a more immediate problem." She pointed to a small device on her wrist. A tracker, blinking rapidly. "I'm not the only one who crash-landed. And the others. They're hunters. They'll be coming for me." The rain continued to pound outside, and Lyra's eyes darted toward the windows, equal parts fear and something else entirely. Ash checked his weapon and secured the doors. "How many?" he asked. "3, maybe 4. Her voice trembled slightly. "I'm a scientist, not a fighter." "Lucky for you," Ash said, checking his ammunition. "I'm both." Lightning flashed again, illuminating Lyra's face. Despite the alien features, he recognized the look in her eyes. Determination mingled with vulnerability. He'd seen it in fellow soldiers too many times. "Why are they hunting you?" he asked. Lyra's hand moved protectively to a small pouch at her belt. "Because I discovered something they want to hide from both our worlds. They're called the Vex," Lyra explained, wincing as Ash cleaned her wound. "Mercenaries hired by my government to eliminate problems." Every touch seemed to intensify her condition. Her silver eyes dilated, skin practically radiating heat. She gripped the edge of the cot to maintain control. "And you're a problem because..." Ash applied a sealing gel to the gash. "Because I discovered they've been weaponizing a pathogen to use against Earth." She shuddered, but not from pain. "My species, the Novan, signed a peace treaty with your world 2 years ago. This would violate it, start a war." Ash remembered the treaty. After a tense first contact scenario, relations had been cautiously diplomatic. "So you're a whistleblower." "The evidence is here." She tapped the pouch. "Research data, location coordinates, everything needed to stop them." Outside, the storm intensified. Lyra's breathing grew more labored, not from injury, but from fighting her biological response. Her eyes tracked Ash's movements with barely concealed hunger. "The water reaction," he said, keeping his voice clinical. "Is it dangerous?" "Not dangerous, just overwhelming. A biological imperative from when my ancestors evolved in drought-prone regions. Water meant life, reproduction." Her voice hitched. "I can control it. Just need time." A proximity alarm beeped. Ash moved to the window, scanning with thermal imaging. 2 heat signatures approaching from the north. Non-human. Lyra stood shakily. "They're tracking my biosignature. Can we block it?" She glanced around the cabin, eyes landing on his medical supplies. "Copper. Do you have anything with high copper content?" Ash rummaged through his supplies, retrieving a roll of specialized wound dressing. "Will this work?" "Perfect." She fashioned a makeshift shield around her tracker. Temporary solution. Their fingers brushed during the exchange. Lyra inhaled sharply, her control slipping momentarily. The room seemed to charge with electricity that had nothing to do with the storm. "I should mention," she said, voice low, "my condition is somewhat contagious through extended contact. Not the full response, but humans may experience increased attraction, lowered inhibitions." Ash stepped back. "You're saying it's like pheromones?" "Similar concept, stronger effect." She looked away. "I'm sorry. I should have mentioned it sooner." The Vex would reach them within minutes. Ash checked his defenses, limited at best against alien hunters. "We need a plan," he said. Lyra's eyes darted to his tactical gear. "I can fight, but not well. Not like this. Your condition, can we use it to our advantage?" For the first time, she smiled. Predatory, determined. "Actually, we can. The Vex rely on scent detection. If I'm aroused, it overwhelms their senses, confuses them. So you become invisible to them." "Not invisible. More like blinding. They can tell I'm here, but not precisely where." Ash nodded. "That gives us an edge." A branch snapped outside. Lyra tensed, her body's response intensifying with stress. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "There's something else you should know. If we survive this," her silver eyes locked onto his, "when this is over, the drive doesn't just disappear. It needs resolution." Understanding dawned on Ash as the first of the hunters reached the perimeter. "Let's survive first," he said, handing her a weapon. "Then we'll talk about resolution." The first Vex crashed through the door in a spray of splinters. Taller than Ash by nearly a foot, with mottled green skin and a face covered in sensory nodes. It hesitated, clearly disoriented by Lyra's biochemical output. Ash fired 3 rounds into its chest. The creature stumbled but didn't fall. "Aim for the central node," Lyra called, pointing to a glowing spot at the base of its throat. His next shot found the target. The Vex collapsed, ichor spreading across the floorboards. Outside, the second hunter circled the cabin. Confused but dangerous. "They hunt in pairs," Lyra said, moving to the back window. "But there will be more." Working together, they lured the second Vex inside. Lyra's presence disoriented it long enough for Ash to neutralize the threat. With immediate danger past, Lyra examined the alien corpses. They're augmented, biological weapons, illegal even by my world standards. "Your evidence just got stronger," Ash noted. Lyra's composure was returning, her biochemical drive temporarily manageable as the rain eased. She opened her pouch, revealing a crystalline data storage device. "This contains more than just evidence of bioweapons," she explained. "It proves high-ranking officials contracted the Vex for multiple off-books operations, assassinations, sabotage. Against Earth. Against both worlds. War profiteers exist everywhere." Their eyes met, understanding flowing between them. 2 individuals from different planets, both fighting for the same cause. "We need to get this to the right people," Ash said. I have contacts in the Terran Defense Court. There's a Novan scientific outpost 70 miles south, Lyra added, staffed by researchers who oppose military action. They could transmit the data simultaneously to both governments. Ash studied the tactical situation. The remaining Vex will expect us to head there. Then we do the unexpected. Lyra traced a route on his map. This mountain pass. Difficult terrain, but it provides cover. Outside, the storm began to clear. Moonlight filtered through broken clouds, illuminating Lyra's alien features in soft silver. The immediate danger had passed, but her physiological condition remained evident, controlled but present. Your situation, Ash said carefully. Will it interfere with travel? Lyra smiled wryly. I can manage, though proximity doesn't help. She studied him with those liquid silver eyes. You've been exposed to my biochemistry for hours now. You must feel effects. Ash didn't deny it. The attraction was undeniable, alien yet familiar, intense but not mindless. I've had worse distractions in combat situations, he said dryly. Her laugh was musical. You humans, and your understatements. She grew serious. On my world, this wouldn't be unusual. Different species find each other compatible all the time. Earth is still adjusting to not being alone in the universe, Ash replied. But adaptation is what humans do best. They prepared for the journey, gathering supplies and weapons from the fallen Vex. Working in tandem, they moved with complementary precision, her knowledge of alien technology matching his tactical expertise. Why risk everything for this? Ash asked as they prepared to depart. Lyra's expression turned solemn. Because my people believe in study before action, understanding before judgment. What the Vex are doing violates everything we stand for. She looked at him curiously. Why help me? You could have turned me over. Because doing the right thing isn't species-specific, he answered simply. Dawn broke over the mountain ridge as Ash and Lyra crested the final pass. Below, the Novan scientific outpost stood, a collection of silver domes nestled in a secluded valley. They'd traveled through the night, evading 2 more Vex hunting parties along the way. We made it, Lyra breathed, her silver eyes bright with relief. Not quite, Ash warned, pointing to movement near the outpost's perimeter. More Vex. They anticipated us. 3 at the main entrance, Lyra observed, likely more inside. Ash assessed their options. I count 5 total. Too many for a frontal approach. There's another way. Lyra indicated a maintenance tunnel, but it requires passing through the waterfall. Their eyes met, understanding the implication. Any contact with water would trigger her biological response again, at full intensity. Is there another option? Ash asked. Not if we want to succeed. Determination set her features. I can handle it. And afterward, Lyra's gaze held his. That depends on us both. They moved silently toward the waterfall. At the entrance to the maintenance tunnel, Lyra paused. Once we're through, my condition will make stealth difficult, but it will also confuse their sensors. I'll get us through, Ash promised. The icy cascade drenched them both. Lyra gasped, her body immediately responding to the water. Her skin flushed deep blue, eyes dilating until they were almost entirely black. She trembled with the effort of maintaining control. Ash guided her through the tunnel, their progress slowed by her condition. Inside the facility, alarms wailed. They'd been detected despite everything. The transmission room, Lyra managed between labored breaths. 2nd level. They encountered the first Vex at the stairwell. As predicted, it hesitated, overwhelmed by Lyra's biochemical output. Ash eliminated it efficiently, but the sound attracted others. Go, Lyra urged, pressing the data crystal into his hand. I'll draw them off. Not happening, Ash replied, lifting her as her control slipped further. We finish this together. They reached the transmission room with 2 Vex in pursuit. Lyra fell against the console, fingers flying across alien controls despite her condition. Ash held position at the door, engaging the hunters. "Transmission initiated," she gasped. The console flashed confirmation as Ash dispatched the final vex. Simultaneous transmission to both Novan and Terran authorities. The evidence was out. "It's done," he said, securing the door. Lyra looked up at him, no longer fighting her condition. "Yes," she whispered. "That part is done." Hours later, reinforcements from both governments secured the facility. The joint operation, unprecedented in speed and cooperation, had already apprehended key conspirators. Ash and Lyra stood apart from the activity, watching the sunrise from an observation deck. "What happens now?" he asked. "I've been offered a permanent position at the Earth-Novan Joint Scientific Commission," she said, "to continue building bridges between our worlds." "Sounds important." Her silver eyes met his. "It is, but there are other bridges worth building too." Her fingers intertwined with his. "Biological compatibility between our species is rare. What happened between us? It wasn't just my condition." Ash smiled. "I know. My people have a saying. Stars form from chaos and become something beautiful." She squeezed his hand. "Maybe we can too." Outside, the first official joint Novan-Terran security team coordinated their efforts, a direct result of their shared mission. Something new was beginning, both between worlds and between them. Unwilling to find out, Ash said, drawing her closer. The rain had stopped, but some kinds of heat, they both knew, needed no water to ignite.